What's the weirdest thing you've been told not to do because it's gay? Carrying a reusable bag for groceries. Drink wine. Eat vegetables. Drinking with a straw because it reminds her of sucking ick. She was serious. Cook. Had a friend who said he had weird bumps coming upon his skin, so I suggested he go to the dermatologist. He said only women do that. Alright man, good luck. Hum or like the color purple. Taking an umbrella when it's raining. I was taken aside by my deeply concerned and shocked friend and was told, "You know that's a male cat you're stroking." I was astonished. Years ago, a coworker insisted that lesbian Orn was gay, not in a "that's technically correct" way. He was insistent that proper men shouldn't watch women getting each other off. Apparently, straight men need to see other men's erect penises in their Orn. Who knew? I took up photography a few years back and my friends asked me to photograph their wedding. I did it and even made them a slideshow with nice music because I wanted to try it out. I showed it to them and my buddy said it was gay. He called his own wedding photos gay. Apparently I passed a straight guy test, back in the 90s, when I looked at my nails palm up with my fingers curled in versus palm down with my fingers out straight. A Eastern European gentleman told me that doing photography was gay. Never quite figured that one out. When I was a young child, probably 4 or 5, I traded crayons with a girl in my class who had this crazy non-pink crayon. I'd never seen a color so vibrant and really liked it, and she offered to trade it tome for some other color I had. I said yes, of course, and used it all day. In the evening I was at home and coloring with this neon pink crayon, and when my mom noticed, she immediately took it away. When I asked why I couldn't color with it, she said it's not a color for boys and I'd understand when I'm older. 20 years later I told my girlfriend, now wife, that story, and like a week later she gave me a whole bag full of pink crayons. It was a really sweet gesture and I feel like it was one of those moments that reinforced my feelings toward her. Also worth noting, I went to college for art. A donate of my favorite pieces I made that was accepted into a gallery featured pink pastels pretty prominently. A few things I've been called gay for doing. Reading using an umbrella, wearing a sweater, not knowing how to play any songs by Stevie Ray Vaughan on the guitar at age 15, yawning. Wearing a shirt with another man's name on it. It was a hockey jersey with a player's name on it and he was 12. Just to name a few off the top of my head. Drink sweet alcoholic beverages like sweet sherry, or any cocktail with an umbrella in it. And no, I don't care. There is very little peer pressure that I will cave to. Losing World of Tanks battles, winning World of Tanks battles, playing my selected World of Tanks tank, badly playing my selected World of Tanks tank, conventionally well playing my selected World of Tanks tank, not how you're supposed to play it. Modding the camo skin on my M36 Jackson to bedrawings of dicks and posting a screenshot on the official Watt forums as the M36 Jackingoffson and getting banned at it. No, I don't have a man crush on Watt tank historian Nick Moran, and I'm being really defensive about this edit too. Look, he's really hot and his accent is super hot, and it's normal for straight guys to have occasional thoughts about amazing people like that without it being gay. My dad used to tell my brothers not to wash their hair so much, or they would turn gay. Not me, my wife is a nurse. Apparently washing your ick is pretty ucking gay. Edit. Because tons of people seem to be misunderstanding. She doesn't say that. She has patients with nasty SS dicks who tell her they didn't wash it cause that's gay. Dress well when I was single. What was weirdest was the comment came from a girl. She swore that any guy that was single in their 20s and dressed nicely was gay. Dating women. Cooking. I have to feed myself and I'd prefer fresh, nutritious meals that don't require unhealthy takeaway and cost a fortune. I like to pull down my jacket sleeves onto my palms on cold days. One of my friends told me to behave like a man. Wipe my SS. Any touching of the utthole is gay apparently. Go to a wedding with 2 grooms. You're going to a gay wedding. You must be secretly gay. An idiotons told me. I once went to a Sikh wedding too. Does that make me secretly Sikh? One of my students claimed joining the military was gay because it's nothing but guys. Dating, masculine, or athletic, women. What is the biggest difference between X in your 20s and X in your 30s? 20s, it didn't really take a lot to get me going, just 1. Being in my bed, and 2. Being mostly nude enough. 30s, I really need them to be into it, too. Like, if they act like they're only doing this to make me happy, I pick up on it and I just can't continue. I also need them to show some interest in me too, or it takes some monumental effort to be in the mood. I'm more particular, and more aware of what the other party is doing and how they're reacting, etc. I gained the confidence to ask for what I actually want, and say what feels good to me and what doesn't. Too many people just go with what they usually do in the sack, instead of talking about what each individual actually enjoys. Basically, I no longer settle for bad X. X in 30s about a million times better. Still very orny but also experienced, skills, more willing to try things. Teens, screwed like a nympho, but X was mediocre. 20s, screwed like a nympho, X was a little better. 30s, started figuring out what I wanted, screwed a little less but better quality. 40s, best and most frequent X yet. Hornier and more experimental now than ever before. Edited to add. Had kids in late 20s, early 30s. Kids consume so much time and energy. Kids are getting older now, so more time and energy for X again. Honestly, X in 40s has been the freakiest, wildest, most fulfilling yet. The amount of time you have available. No difference to me. No X versus no X, man shrugging. What's something that changed, disappeared because of COVID that still hasn't returned? 24-hour stores and restaurants. There are probably way less than half as there used to be. Honestly? People's manners and the irreasonableness. I work retail, and the average person has become significantly more needy, entitled, and angry over the last 3 years. It's odd. Tip function on every debit machine. Like a McDonald's or Booster Juice. We are experiencing higher than normal wait times. Yeah, right. You just didn't rehire the same amount of people you laid off. Now it doesn't matter when you call, you're looking at a multi-hour wait. Businesses have also been saying that same message for the last 3 years. It's a normal wait time now. 24-hour diners, pensive-faced kids these days will never know the bliss of drunkenly eating French toast at 3:30 a.m. after a night out edit. I'm in NY and the nearest Waffle House is 100 miles away, so that's not a possibility. There was a wonderful hobby shop in the town I live in. Sold RC vehicles, high-quality model kits, supplies, model train stuff, hosted MTG tournaments, Warhammer, etc. Really nice place. It was run by the nicest guy and some of his friends. It's gone now. Makes me really sad. I bought all my hobby stuff from him. Now I have to either drive 2 hours if I want to buy from a locally owned store, or I need to buy from online. My insomniac SS being able to do my grocery shopping at 4 a.m. People's patience. Paperwork. Everything is PDF and e-signed now. I don't even see the people I use to get signatures from. There's an underlying hopelessness that I feel almost everyone shares right now. The way people were acting during the height of it seems like it's irreversible psychological social damage that never had us coming together as a society. Even people of faith seem to be concerned. People's mental health. What X advice would you give to your younger self if you could travel back in time? Your pullout game may not be as strong as you think. Teens, don't let other people tell you how to feel about yourself. 20s, that one nerdy chick who saw Deadpool with you 4 times wants to sleep with you. Now, don't settle. Your ick is fine. Don't worry about it. If she lets you see her naked, there's no need to rush anything. Take your time with X. Foreplay is essential. Hey younger self, don't listen to your future self. He's still a virgin. X isn't a healthy way to deal with your self-worth issues and isn't a good enough reason to stay in relationships that aren't good for you. Once she puts you in the friend zone, respect her decision and move on to the next girl. Edit. Thank you for the awards and upvotes. Don't UCK Sherry Shay has crabs. Stick to your vibrator and don't UCK with that dude. Edit. Sometimes you put your ick in crazy, sometimes crazy puts its ick in you. You've always done great, but when Karen lets you trinol, use way more lube, trust me. For the love of God, don't fake any RGASMS. Start learning how to dance earlier. Women love a guy who can dance. It is X adjacent and X adjacent leads to X. Make some noise during X. You dig it when women do it. They dig it when you do it. Trim your pubes. A tree looks larger on the prairie than it does in the forest. Don't wait until the bar is about to close to invite someone to leave. You are more likely to bet too drunk by then. Postman, couriers, or Reddit. What's the weirdest state someone's been in while answering the door? I once delivered pizza to a rager. Not a stack of pizzas to a normal party, a single pizza to a huge area of a party. Like, cars parked on the lawn, guys throwing up off the balcony, People fighting in the living room, hundreds of beer cans all over the places, all of it. I go in and ask for Amy, the person who ordered it, and everyone is pointing me to different directions. Eventually I find this girl doing 3 feet bong rips on the back porch. She looks at me and says, "Oh hit, my pizza." The N hands me a crumpled up $100 bill and tells me to keep the change. As I'm getting in my car, a guy runs up asks me to do a beer run. I say I have towed it back, and he says, "Okay, what if I pay you?" Then he gives me like $20 for running him down the street to the gas station. Naked dude soaking wet wearing nothing but a Cracker Barrel apron. First time okay, second time something is going on here. Fucking hell, I'm probably too late for this, but let me tell you an insane story. I moved into a shared house with 2 other people when I was 21. Living the dream, lots of parties, and pretty soon after moving in I became UCK buddies with one housemate. Very laid back and a little weird, she literally used to tell me how her Tinder dates had gone whilst cleaning my is off her face. I promise this isn't some orny story though. It's just an important bit of context. One day I'd made some cash doing a gig, close-up magic, and called her up asking if she fancied a few celebratory drinks and a movie evening. It was pretty early cuz it was a lunchtime gig for the Jubilee in England. She was all for it, so that's what we did. Of course, we didn't get fully dressed afterwards, so I'm naked and she's put on a t-shirt and pair of my boxers and we are an hour into Memento, and 20 minutes post-hag when the door goes. Ucking policeman there when she answered the door. "Is Steve in?" Other housemate. They asked. "No," she says. Steve was out a couple days, hence me being naked in a sofa. I start looking for clothes but there are none in the lounge and I'd have to walk past the front door to get to bedroom. Police hear me rustling, assume I'm Steve and bust into the flat. I get arrested on the spot and handcuffed naked. Housemate gets my license to prove it's not me and I'm let go, so they leave and it was so surreal we both just start laughing. The police were so embarrassed by the end of it, we were all kinda laughing together after all the apologies. We all saw the ludicrousness of the situation. So of course when the door knocked again a few minutes later, I assumed it was the police again, and they'd forgotten something. So I answered Alec naked as the day I was born and said, "Are you here, pin me down again?" to the Amazon delivery guy. Peas. Turns out Steve was trying to meet up with underage girls, hence the search warrant. I am not a postal worker, but I did used to be a public defender. I once had a client who got into the habit of always greeting his postal worker and UPS and FedEx delivery drivers, completely naked and with a fully erect penis. That is also why he was my client. I had him plea out. Did door-to-door sales for about a week when I was young and broke. Had an attractive woman answer the door wearing nothing but a very tiny bikini bottom. I thought I was about to get lucky, but it turned out her husband dared her to do it. They thought I was selling Jesus and wanted to UCK with me. Still, I got an eye full of the nicest it's I'd seen to that point in my life. Not a postman but one of our salesmen presented a proposal to a client while the client was RECEIVINGAN enema from a home health nurse in their living room.